Greetings and salutations, everyone. This is the Wolfphototech interactive entertainment channel. This time I'm going to quickly flip through the keys from the Golden Vault, which is the most recent book from Wizards of the Coast. Note that I have a huge backlog of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition stuff. And not specifically just Wizards of the Coast stuff, I mean like third-party stuff, which is probably going to be like the major focus going into the future. But here we go. This book has an MSRP of basically $50, which is interesting because, you know, Wizards of the Coast at one point announced that they were no longer including MSRP on their products. Yet there it is, right there, as well as the Canadian price. It is a moderately thick book. It sits about, 208 pages with the index. It has a rather neat piece of art on the cover. Now, as I go into this, I will note that this is an anthology or collection of heist adventures for your characters. You have the credits in the D&D studio, and then we have the contents section right here. Introduction, and then each little of the adventures. The Merkmere Malevolence, the Stygian Gambit, Reach for the Stars, Prisoner 13, which, by the way, if you have D&D Beyond, you could have gotten free if you have a membership, a subscription. Talkworth's Clockworks, Masterpiece Ambogino, Axe from the Grave, Voldorant's Vault, Shard of the Accursed, Heart of Ashes, Affair on the Concordiant Express, Party at the Palincent Hall, Fire and Darkness, and then the index. And I do, as it goes through, there's each one of these sections has an adventure background, and then it has the little sub-chapters for each one. This is denoting that this is a collection that can either be used as standalone adventures or could be tied into each other as a Keys of the Golden Vault campaign. We have this nice little chart right here with the name of the adventure, the level, and the description. A short mini description of a single sentence for each one of these adventures. However, I do note that they should also replicate. I've said this before many times whenever I see something like this. They should also include the page number in which these adventures are from. That way you don't have to basically flip back to the table of contents, even though it's only a few pages away. The more places they duplicate the page number, the better. You have some decent artwork here. Rival crew statistics. Say like you're running the adventure, you have a crew of rival adventurers and their motivations for the adventure as in relationship to each one of these little adventures. And then you have the Mirkwold Malevolence. There is adventure background, and then there's the using the Golden Vault hook, adventure hook set up here, like you're a member of the Golden Vault organization. And then you happen to have a key there. The blue boxes are readout text. Cry for help is the little setup here. What Dr. Daniels knows, introducing important NPCs. Basic map. This map is clearly designed not to be a battle map, but a investigative map in the vein of Call of Cthulhu. You have level of number of guards and various other situations in which your characters can run into, as well as the various alarms throughout the museum and various other stuff. There is a general vibe that this is basically the Merkmere Stone. This, reading over the adventures in this book, kind of have the vibe of they pulled a lot of the ideas from movies, like the Stygian Gambit, and they mixed it in with Call of Cthulhu. And they didn't entirely like pin it down exactly, as Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition is a level class system. And due to being a level class system, there is a great deal of variation in character ability composition. So you can, in the future, say like a few months or a year, they can like release a new book, and it can result in a broken character combination that can bypass various other things. This is the Stygian Gambit map right here. You have a very interesting mixture of maps here. Pretty much all the maps in this book are non-combat focused. They are more along the lines of someone drawing up a map in world to hand to the player characters. You have various characters here. And then you have this map, which actually would be more in line with a battle map, but it's super small. You have to blow it up. Please just note that there is this nice thing about this book, that they oftentimes have a map that is player focused, and then they have a map that is game master focused, which is a really nice feature. Now, as of this current video, I have yet to run this adventure or any of these adventures in this book. So there you go. All I can say is that they look decent, even though that they are basically replicating Call of Cthulhu, which does it better, and movies, which are still a better medium than heist adventures than, say, Dungeons & Dragons. So I would have to actually run these to actually be 100% certain, as yet again, there is a decent amount of artwork in here. The Heart of Ashes, Castle Canis. There's the player map, and then there's the game master map. Flip a few more pages. I get to the back. Each one of these adventures has a MacGuffin. So the Book of Vile Darkness is one of them. And then the index. There are 0 player options in this book. I mean, absolute 0 player options. There's only a few magic items that are unique to this book. I think like 3 of them. Everything else is borrowed from other books. And there are basically next to no new mechanics for Dungeon Master or Game Master. This book is simply just a collection of short adventures for parties at various levels. So there you go. It's suggested for between levels 1 to 11, which is basically the bulk of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventures. We got a lot of those as it is already, so it's just another one of those things in the pile. As I said before, I have yet to run anything out of this book. I've only read it a few times. My general vibe is it's in that 3.5 star territory. And I do place a lot of stuff in the 3.5 star territory, as it is good, it's functional. It's obviously going to take some work for the game master to make playable for their players, but not an extensive amount of work. Although on the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition scale of work, it's still a lot of work. However, there isn't a whole lot. That's the Game Master score. A player score is like 0 stars. If you're a player, you have absolutely no reason to buy this book. Completely. Don't even bother spending the money on it. If you're a Game Master, and you're a very busy Game Master, buy this book. Yes, I would go for it. However, there are better game systems, like Call of Cthulhu for heist and mysteries, than this, and a great deal. Many of this stuff is just pretty decent overall, but not amazing. So there I go. So a 0 preliminary star score for players, a 3.5 for game masters. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful weekend, magnificent month, and see you next time. Ciao.